In the beginning there was only the void. Then the Creator, known as God, spoke, and from his voice came light. The light divided, and from it the heavens and the earth were born. The Creator made the heavens a realm of harmony, filled with perfect beings, angels, servants of the divine, each given a purpose. Among them was one angel, the most brilliant, the most beautiful, and the most powerful. His name was Lucifer. Lucifer, meaning light-bringer, was the morning star. He was God's most favored creation, endowed with immense wisdom, strength, and beauty. His wings shimmered with the hues of dawn, and his voice carried the music of the spheres. He was tasked with spreading the will of the Creator, a being of unmatched grace, and the leader of the angelic host. For eons, Lucifer served faithfully, guiding the angels in their worship and work. But as time passed, a thought began to fester within him, a thought that grew as he observed the grandeur of the Creator. Lucifer began to wonder, why should God alone sit on the throne of the universe? He looked upon the divine power, the rule of all creation, and the perfect order of existence, and a question gnawed at his heart. Why must I be second? He began to see himself not just as a servant, but as a being deserving of greater recognition. He believed his beauty and strength surpassed all others, and surely, if he were allowed to ascend, he could lead creation just as well as God, or perhaps even better. The seeds of pride and envy sprouted in his heart, and Lucifer began to feel that he was as great as the Creator himself. One fateful day, Lucifer gathered his closest followers, the archangels, and whispered to them of his growing desire to lead the heavens. He spoke of a new order where all beings could be equal, where no one, least of all God, held absolute dominion over the realms. But God, who knew the hearts of all his creations, saw Lucifer's pride. God approached him in love and sorrow, his voice gentle but firm. "Lucifer," he said, "you were created in beauty and wisdom, but it is through humility that you will find your true glory. Do not seek to challenge the throne, for in that path lies destruction." But Lucifer, blinded by pride, would not listen. He felt that God's authority was a chain, a limitation upon his own greatness. "I will not bow to any throne," Lucifer declared, "not even to the throne of God." A great war began in heaven as Lucifer rallied his followers, now known as the fallen angels, against the loyal hosts of heaven. The battle was fierce, with thunderclaps that shook the heavens and lightning that blazed like fiery tongues. The angels fought not for evil, but for a new vision, a vision in which they could be free from the rule of one. God, in his infinite mercy and wisdom, did not destroy Lucifer outright. He allowed the rebellion to unfold, giving his creation the freedom to choose. Yet, knowing the consequences, he summoned the might of his faithful angels and cast Lucifer and his followers out of heaven. They fell from the light, spiraling into darkness. Lucifer, now cast into the abyss, became Satan, the adversary. He no longer radiated light. Instead, he carried with him the darkness of his own fall from grace. His pride had blinded him to the truth of existence, that true greatness lies in surrender to God's will, not in rebellion against it. For eons, Lucifer and his followers wandered in the void, plotting and scheming to corrupt God's creation, to turn the hearts of humanity away from the Creator. He tempted Adam and Eve, whispering lies in the Garden of Eden, leading them to defy God's command. It was Lucifer's fall that ushered in the suffering of the world. But even as Lucifer sought to bring ruin, God, in his love and wisdom, never abandoned his creation. God sent his messengers, the prophets, to warn humanity of the path of pride, and in the fullness of time, he sent his Son, Jesus, to offer redemption to those who would choose the light over the darkness. Lucifer, in his bitterness, refused to repent. He could not accept that his reign of darkness would end, for to do so would mean acknowledging his own fault. Yet even in his rebellion, God's love remained constant. The story of God and Lucifer is not merely one of conflict, but of grace and free will. For though Lucifer chose pride and self-destruction, God continues to offer redemption to all who turn to him. Lucifer's rebellion serves as a cautionary tale, a warning that pride and defiance against the divine order only lead to misery, while humility and surrender to God bring true peace. In the end, God's victory will be complete, and Lucifer's reign of darkness will end. Yet as with all things, the story is still unfolding. For every soul that turns toward God, the light grows brighter, and the shadow of Lucifer recedes further into the void. The battle between light and dark, good and evil, continues. But the ultimate triumph of love and truth remains certain.